Hi, welcome to Adventure RC. In this edition then, we're looking at to buy Chinese or not to buy Chinese. So, for my examples, I've got some examples, some good examples here and some bad examples here of the Chinese stuff I've bought. So hopefully it's beneficial and useful to you to make a decision whether you do buy Chinese or you do buy some more expensive European or American pop-up parts for your cars. So I'll go with the positives first. So the positive stuff is I've recently bought these, so two front bumpers, so metal bumpers, front and rear. This one came complete, came sort of fixed with this bracket here, the spare wheel bracket here, so you can put a spare wheel on. It generally looks half decent quality, you know, it's a bit thin in places, but you think hopefully it should be better than the plastic ones. But also it comes with loads of extras, so it comes with the D-rings, the red painted D-rings that look quite smart, all the fasteners, all the screws there, decent sized looking pins. Lighting kits, so it comes with a lighting kit for both with the usual 2-pin connectors on for both front and rear, so you can put lights in the front and I think the same place on the rear if you really want them. Personally I don't like lights, I don't use my car at night, so not really much to me, but yeah, both come with the D-loops and all the fixing kits, so really good. Look okay, £37 delivered from China, came within about a week and a half I think it was, so far not too bad. I'll post some pictures before and after what these look like on the car, so hopefully make an informed decision yourselves. I'll run with a negative now, then we'll end on a high. So drive shafts. So this is a drive shaft, or one of the two drive shafts I had on the car for about a year and a half, going all over the country using it, and it was fantastic. Can't really complain too much. And eventually one day it snapped just the sort of thin section there before the universal joint and the sort of larger pin joint. So I took them both off. That was the last one. That was the one that worked, the shorter one that snapped. And then I decided to try something because I had a good result there. Decided to try something a bit cheaper. So I went with these ones from China. They're from China as well, I think, but these ones look a lot better, you know, decent colour, etc. Look half decent quality. I thought, yeah, go with them. So, but then I found out quite quickly, the reason why there's quite a few on here is because I bought, the price of paying for one of those, I bought 2 packs. So enough for 2 cars worth. I thought I'd replace both. So one had been on a car for about 4 or 5 weeks going around. And how they work slightly different to those is they use this one uses the standard Traxxas pins, which are really good sort of quality pins. You can get them in, get them out. Use a bit of Loctite if you need to on there, but you can. They're good enough not to round off or degrade that much. These ones don't use the Traxxas pins. These use a little grub screw. I don't know if you can see that really tiny grub screw. So they fit onto the usual mounting point, the usual Traxxas mount on the transmission mount there. The little grub screw. One grub screw goes in and only just sort of tickles it on the inside, just it doesn't go the way through, just push it on in nicely. But I found out these corrode really quickly. So even though I put oil on them, you know, you should always oil the nuts, by the way. Put a bit of oil on there to prevent corrosion, and then also put, you know, WD-40 and stuff on, or GT85 on at the time I cleaned it. You can see how badly these are corroded inside. That's one of the ones that I took off. That was really bad. That actually almost welded itself on there. I couldn't get the pin. One of them broke. I couldn't get the pins out. I had to drill it out of the car. Luckily, didn't damage the transmission mount. But yeah, so basically, how these ones work. If you've not seen these before, these have a little locking collar. The collar slides around this little rubber O-ring. That's what keeps it on. And as you can see there, perfectly on time. If the collar comes off, the pin drops out. You lose the pin. That just flies off, and then you lose drive. That then just drops off, that then drops out, and you've left nothing. Luckily, as I was out, I noticed that I was climbing a section and it dropped out on the way up, and I saw it drop out, but I did lose the pin. So the pin looks almost the same as one of your wheel pins for your hex nuts on your wheels, back of your extender wheels. But it's not quite the same size, it's a bit longer. So basically that fits in there, and then your pin runs through the centre of that shaft. Now luckily I carry some spare body clips, and I cut a body clip long enough to fit in there to hold the pin in, and then push the collar around, but the damage had already been done on the O-ring, so it was just sort of flopping around. and then I just taped it around, keep it in place, and then that worked for the rest of the trip out there, and it was absolutely fine. But when it came to taking them out again to replace it with a new one, again I had to drill 3 out of the 4 mounts, the joints on the car, which was not ideal. So I took them all off the car because I couldn't be bothered with having to drill things out. So yeah, so be warned, although these were cheaper. So I bought 4 2 long and 2 short centre drive shafts for sort of universal for TRX4s, but universal for all cars. I bought 4 for £17 delivered, which was sort of half decent price, but I wouldn't go back now. I went straight back to the Traxxas standard plastic ones, no issues whatsoever since. So we'll end on a high then. Let's move that rubbish to one side. So end on a high. Whilst upgrading one of my cars, it had been in since new. I broke a tooth off one of the portal axles shafts there, one of the pinions, and I replaced it. I decided to. They wanted £8 for one long shaft, a Traxxas approved part. So all I did was I looked on the internet and thought, I'll take a gamble here. So I bought some of these Chinese ones. So that's a brand new bag of the Chinese ones. I took them out, looked almost identical in sort of makeup and sort of composition. Really look nice compared to the standard Traxxas ones. But I bought 4 2 long and 2 short for £10 off eBay. £10 delivered. I think it was £12 delivered actually. So £12 for 4 or £8 for 1. I just couldn't compete with the price. And so far so good. It's been in 6 months. The car's been upgraded with an different ESC motor, and it's still going strong. I've taken it out and I've checked since then. Don't seem to be any signs of cracks or any kind of rust or degradation that I'd expect. So yeah, so that's ending on a high. So that's a really good buy. I think gearing wise it doesn't tend to be too bad, but that's only because my experience here. I wouldn't, I'm sure you guys can tell me different stories you've had. So that's my good and bad experiences with Chinese bought parts. Please feel free to let me know your experiences in the comments to try and prevent us people buying the wrong thing. If you've got good suppliers on there, please let me know as well. If you like this video and think it's beneficial, give us a thumbs up. If you don't, give us a thumbs down, but please give us a comment so we can improve and get better. That's what we're all here for. If there's anything else you want to see or any comments you want from this stuff or the suppliers, please PM me directly and I will let you know what the supplier is. Also, look at Facebook, Adventure RC on Facebook. We do put our videos and stuff as well on there, so you can see those from a sort of family point of view. And they're all, if you've got kids, you can watch them. There's no swearing or anything like that in them. Yeah, please subscribe. Hopefully I'll see you out and about. Take care. So, mounted the front and rear bumpers then. There's a couple of negatives and positives, so I'll go for the negatives first. The front D-shackles then, they issue you 9 Allen key heads. I think it's 1.5mm Allen key heads at the front. Only give you one in case there's one, in case you lose one or just an extra. Which is absolutely fine. They look okay, don't look too bad. But a lot of the fasteners go in way too easy. I mean, just literally like almost a bit loose, not quite as tight as you expect if you're getting a Traxxas or a bigger brand box. So trick is plenty of Loctite, plenty of thread lock on these. It needs it. I think if I didn't do that, a lot of them would come loose. There's a mounting bracket on the back of this front bumper, very similar to the Traxxas one. Mine's been heavily glued and modified there, but so that mounting plate there just screws straight into the back. Now there's a metal plate in the back of this one, and the screws they give you are countersunk screws this size, but they're not actually long enough from where the plate goes into the back to actually touch the longits, these longits here that go into the chassis. So they don't touch it. You can't screw them in. Luckily, I have some of these in these. That's the sort of size they should be giving you. They're the ones that were in my toolbox. Managed to use those and carried on. That's absolutely fine. Not a problem. Luckily, I had them. Yeah, the winch section here goes on fine. D-shackles look good, but again, the pins for the D-shackles, I've had to glue them in place because they didn't look very secure at all. But you can see the finish. Finish looks quite good. They've sort of copied off the dimensions a lot, like the Traxxas one, but just added with the ball bar thing. So I think it's quite good. Let me know what you think. Hopefully it'll push you to maybe inquire about getting some. On the rear then, so the positives first. It looks all right. It looks, to be fair, it looks like it's sitting a bit low. It looks like almost that the bumper's the wrong way around, but it isn't, because this mounting bracket for the wheels already on there. So it does look like it's potentially upside down, but it's not. So I don't get that. It looks like the body's riding a bit high now, but it's not. It's not changed. I'm happy with the spare wheel on there. Again, the thumb screw on there looks like it could come loose potentially, so plenty of Loctite on there. But the weird thing is, the D-shackles on the front, I said about Allen key heads. The D-shackles on the rear, they've given you little screws with Phillips heads. So it's got 8, I don't know if you can see that, but you've got 8 Phillips head screws on the rear D-shackles, so we'll have to change them. They look horrible, really hideous. And they give you loads of little nuts. You can't really see that, I can't better pick it up. But nuts to go on the back of these screws. So obviously they might know that they come loose, or they're just preventing something, I don't know. It's odd to give you one on one front, one on the back. So they need replacing. But apart from that, the fit looks all right. They went together quite well. The silver screws, opposed to the black ones, the countersunk ones, I had to use for the front. I've had to use them same ones for the back. So right underneath there, you can see some silver screws there, but it's not too much of a biggie. I'm not too fussed about sort of colour coding and that kind of stuff. It looks fairly good. So yeah, so far so good. Let's see if it stands the test of time, and we'll let you know. Cheers.